Hello and welcome back to the All You Need Is Love podcast. My name is Leah and today is the 29th of August. It's been a little while again. August has been crazy in the sense that it was a weird mix between busy and lazy, if that's possible. But I'm super excited for the beginning of September and fall coming, my favorite season of the year. So I figured I should start with a new podcast. If you're new to the show, welcome. You can find me and the show notes for the podcast on my blog, freezeframe.blogspot.com. We also have a Ravelry group, which is the All You Need Is Love podcast on Ravelry. And I'm on Instagram as Alinor89 when I post almost every day. So welcome back, and today I have a lot of stuff to show you, finished objects, lots of works in progress, new stuff I bought and received, and plans for the coming month, which maybe I'm going to start with. So like I said, August was weird, but I'm super excited to start September. I will be going to London next week. I was super happy that I managed to grab tickets, plane tickets and hotel and everything, and that it's happening. So I will be in London for the first week of September until the 6th, and I am super excited. I'm finally going to be able to go to Loop. I've been to London a lot of times because it's my favorite city, but it's going to be my first time going as a knitter. So I have plans to visit a lot of yarn shops, and I'm excited because I'm going to get to go to Loop with Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast, who will also be in London at the same time. So we arranged to meet up, and it's always more fun browsing yarn and speaking about knitting with people. So I'm really happy that I get to meet her. And if you're also in London during that week, I love coffee, so we can always meet up and go grab a cup or buy more yarn. Let me know. And if you have any recommendation, I'm currently looking for cool bookstores in London. So if you have any address, I'm super interested in them. So that's going to be the beginning of September for me. And then I'm going to look for more work. I feel really motivated right now. August has been a very creative month for me. I've been doing 1,000 things at once, which I always love doing. And I really want to keep going like that and make September a good month. I have a lot of knitting plans as well, and I'm super happy that with fall coming, it means that my favorite knit-along is going to start again, and it's the Harry Potter knit-along hosted from the girls of All Loops. You can go check it out on their Ravelry group, which is the All Loops Ravelry group, and it's going to be 3 months of knitting and challenges, all based on Harry Potter. And on the September the 1st, they're going to have a yarn update with only yarn inspired by Harry Potter. I took part in the CAL last year, and it was awesome. So I'm super excited for it to start again and to get to see all the yarn they've tied up and the challenges. So in the meantime, I'm trying to get a lot of stuff off the needle so that I can cast on all the things in September. And I think we're going to start with the knitting and my finished objects. I have 3 to show you. And fair warning, this episode is all about the colors, so I hope you like colors. Let's start with a baby blanket, which I finished a couple weeks ago. And I'm not kidding you about colors. So this blanket is going to be for my sister, who is currently pregnant and about to have a second baby boy in October. I didn't try and do a particularly boyish blankets. I just used nice, cool colors that I loved and she loved. And it's a super basic blanket. It's only garter stitch all the way with big stripes of color. So I started with this cool teal blue, There's some white, lavender. This one is like a raspberry. It's more pink than it's showing here. This is dark blue, some peach, and a baby blue. I had a lot of fun making this blanket. I mean, it was only knitting and knitting and knitting. So very fun and relaxing and mindless. And I think it's a pretty good size. That's it, folded in half. So my sister likes it, and that's all that matters. I still have a lot of ends to weave in, but I still have 2 months to give it to her, so I guess that's okay. This was it's super squishy, and the yarn I've had forever. It's Tycraft Special Decay, and I have like 20 skeins in different colors. I bought it almost a year and a half ago, thinking that I would make a crochet blanket, and then I discovered that I really wasn't that into crochet but I really wanted to use it, so I thought I could still make a blanket, but a knitted one, and that's what I did. I still have a ton of yarn left, so I might make another one, or I don't know, in other colors maybe, with a different motif. But I'm really happy with this one. It's super squishy, super soft. The yarn is super wash, which I think is good because that's going to be for a baby, so my sister will have to wash it quite a lot, I think, and there's no way I'm going to give her something for a baby and then have to tell her that she's going to have to hand wash it. So I think it's the best solution for a baby project. So that's a blanket, and like I said, lots of colors, which I think is great for babies because they need to be stimulated. And I mean, white blankets are super pretty for special occasions, but on a day-to-day basis it's nicer to have lots of colors. So that's my first finished object. And the second one is a pair of socks, which I made last week. I've had the yarn for a while. It's opal yarn that Anna from Gregoria Fibers gave me when we did a swap last year, I think. And I sort of modified the yarn. This is the tag, if you want to see it. It's opal, and the colorway is here. And if you see, like here, there's actually supposed to be blue parts, so it's blue with very dark green. And I started knitting the sock, but I wasn't super into the blue because I think like that it's kind of feminine with the coral and the lavender purple, but when you started adding the blue it was kind of masculine, and I didn't find that they went together. So what I did is I started knitting the first section, which stopped here, and then I just took all the blue out and joined and started going with the rest of this section, and so on. So because the skein was super big, I managed to make quite a decent pair of socks, even though I removed almost half of it. So because I wasn't sure at first if I would have enough yarn, I did them toe up, and basically I knitted that entire foot. Then this one, I did both heels in the same colors, and then I divided the yarn I had left in half so that I would use all of it. And I think it's a pretty good length, at least for me. The sock is super basic, so I used Judy's Magic cast on. I did the short row heel like I do pretty much always, and sometimes I use contrast yarn, but I felt like it worked pretty well like that, and I didn't have any contrasting colors that really went well with these two colors. But I mean, you can't barely notice that the stripes sequence got interrupted, so I'm super happy with it. The sock almost match. They sort of match at the beginning pretty well, but the heels, you can see this one is mostly purple, but this one has a lot more orange, so they don't quite match at the end, but I'm okay with that. They're super fun. It was my first time knitting with opal yarn, and it's not the softest, but I think it's perfect for socks. I can tell they're going to be quite sturdy, and they feel super nice on my feet, so I love them. I think it's super fun. And I finished with 1x1 ribbing, and I did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off here. And for a long time I didn't like using it because it never worked really well for me. It wasn't very pretty, I'd say. But there's been a lot of talk about it lately, and some people have said that what they noticed with this bind off is that, contrary to any other bind off, you have to pull your stitches quite tight when you knit them. And that definitely worked for me because I ended up with a bind off that looks super pretty and super stretchy. So I'm very happy with it, and I can tell I'm going to be making a lot more toe-up socks because it's definitely my favorite technique. So yeah, finished and going to wear them super soon, hopefully. My third finished object you've seen before was my shawl made of self-striping yarn, and I finished it. And it's been blocked since, but like you can see, I still haven't woven in the ends. I really like it. It's completely different from what I'm used to doing, but it's super fun and I really like it. So that's a shawl. I made up the pattern. It's a basic triangular shawls where I alternate between stockinette, garter stitch, and every now and then a few eyelets. So mostly the yarn did most of the work. It's Drops Fable, and it's made for socks, so it's made for self-striping socks. But I turned it into a shawl, and it's self-striping, and I love it. And I did the border in a contrasting color, and I'm super happy that I went with this blue. I think it works very well with the rest of the shawl. The slightly darker tone really brings it all together, and I did a little row of eyelets, and then it's all garter stitch. And I love it. I think it's going to be really fun for, like, wearing with a pair of jeans, for instance, and a simple t-shirt or a simple pullover, and I like it. So that's my shawl. And if you have a skein of 400 yards of self-striping yarn that you don't want to turn into a pair of socks, I definitely recommend trying a shawl. It's super fun, and the result is pretty great. So yeah, love it. So that's all I finished this month. Like I said, lots of colors. And my current works in progress are still very colorful because so my longest project is my blanket made of scrap yarn leftovers from all of my shawls and socks and other fingering weight projects. And I haven't worked a lot of it lately because during the summer it was way too hot to knit on the blanket, because while I'm making a square, the blanket is now sitting on my lap, and I mean, it was too hot for clothes, so for knitted blankets, I let you imagine. But I did manage to add a row. Let me find it. I think it's, yeah, I've worked on that side. So since the last time, I added this entire new row, mostly with yarn that I got from either from Maria from the Stitch in Sweden podcast when we did our swaps. Like, these first 3 skeins are from her. Super lovely purple, this square one, and this blue, which I adore. It's from Malabrigo, and it's in the Impressionist Sky colorway. And I was super happy to get this cane from Maria because I had been considering buying a few of these canes to maybe make a pullover or a cardigan. So I was very glad that I got it from her so that I could try it. And this blue is just perfect. I love the shade and it knits up. I really like Malabrigo. I think I will have to make a cardigan out of it and buy a lot more. So love it. Then there's this orange one. This one is one I got from Maya from the Wool Barn. Usually when you get you buy a skeins from her, she will send you a mini from one of her other bays, which I think is a great idea. And this one is a tweed sock. So it's blue with lots of tweedy bits of brown, white, caramel. I love it. So what's this? Blue, dark blue and greens. And this one is from Anna from Gregoria Fibers, and it's leftover from my Aristidia shawl. And I just love it. I still have almost over 300 yards of a skein, which I think I might turn into a pair of socks. Maybe one with like cables and lace, I don't know, but something pretty. So I did that full row and I still missing. I need to pick a color for the last one. And then I will be working on that side. So I just love that blanket. It's getting big and I just love watching it and seeing it grow. So, but what happened with the blanket is that I'm using leftover yarns, and usually I have like small balls, but once I had a square, I still have some yarn left over, and I started thinking that I needed to do something with all those leftovers. So I decided to channel my inner Molly Weasley, because we all know she's the coolest, and I decided to make a crazy pair of socks out of those tiny leftovers. And so I grabbed all of my leftovers yarn into tiny little balls, and I'm keeping them in this box. Oops. So those are all of my little leftovers. So usually it's tiny little scraps like this one, this one, I love this one, this one, this one which is from Maya, which I just showed you. And so I had all those little skeins and I decided to make a pair of socks, and it's the craziest, coolest project ever. So this is a sock I have so far. If you told me 2 years ago that I would be making a multicolor crazy pair of socks, I wouldn't have believed you, but I just loved working on that sock. So I started them at the cuff, and I'm not really following any plan or pattern or anything. I just add usually between 3 and 5 rows of a color and then move on to the next. So there's a lot of different colors, and I've already made the heel on this one, and I added 2 more rows, 2 new colors. I'm using pretty much any of my leftovers except for the ones that are Madeline Tosh Merino Light, because I think it wouldn't go very well on a sock. It would be destroyed a bit too quickly. So, I mean, as they don't all have nylon in them, but I try to stick with the most sturdy one and the one that I think will age pretty well. So I'm doing both socks at the same time, and even though they're like crazy and I'm not following a plan, I'm making both socks the same. So as you can see, I'm doing the exact same thing on the second sock, and I'm working on the heel right now on this one, which is why it looks so crazy. But here's my heel. And I usually knit my socks on circular needles, like this one. But for the heel, I like to switch to my DPNs. I think it's just easier like that. And then I move back to my circular using magic loop. So those are my Molly Weasley socks. I'm not really in any hurry to finish them because mostly I've used up most of the colors I had. So now I need to add new squares to my blanket before I can add a couple rows in that sock. But I love them. They are going to be quite, I made the leg part quite high. So what I did is I started with 68 stitches for the ribbing part, and on the pink part I decreased to 64, and I did the entire leg on 64 stitches. And now that I'm on the feet part, I'm going to be making a few more rows with 64, and then I will be decreasing to 60. And I'm doing them on my 2.5 millimeters needles. I usually use only 2.25 millimeters for my socks, but because they don't all have the same gauge and there's a lot of ends inside, so it's a bit tighter, I decided to use my 2.5. And they're mostly going to be socks I will be wearing inside, so I like that it's a bit bigger and more relaxed than my usual pair of socks. So I think this is my favorite project ever. I mean, how cool do these socks look? So, yeah, really, really love them. And I can't wait to wear them, and it's just going to be the coolest. No, I'm thinking that I need any more leftovers than for, I don't know, a cardigan made of 1,000 different colors. And I also love these skulls, huge skulls, which you can see, which are made of leftovers yarn, usually with fair iron motifs, and I love those. So I definitely am channeling my inner Molly Weasley and making with every little bit of yarn that I have, and it's just the coolest. So that was my second works in progress. And to give you a little rest from all the crazy colors, I now have a white project, and it's my quill shawl. It doesn't look like much right now, but basically it's a pattern from Brooklyn Tweed, and it's inspired by the Shetland Hap. So it starts with a square that I knit in garter stitch, and then I joined 2 knitting in the round, and I'm now working on the, I think it's called shayless. It kind of looks like waves, and it's super fun to knit. So basically there's this part for a lot of rows now, and then there's going to be a knitted on border. So there's almost 400 stitches on my needle now, so it's definitely a project that's going to take me a long while, because every row is super long, but I am loving every single stitch on this project. Mostly I decided to knit it because Melody from the Mandarins podcast started one a few months ago, and every time I saw hers I was like, I want to make that shawl. And so I finally gave in and bought the yarn and started it a couple weeks ago, and I just love it. If you can see, I'm using a tiny super cute stitch markers, which is a little ship, and it's from Molly of the Homespun House podcast and shop, and I got a few things from her recently which I will show you next, but I couldn't wait and I had to use that little stitch marker right away. It's just adorable. So I am just loving this project. Mostly it's going to be a huge shawl. It's going to be a square, but you can fold it in half and then it becomes a triangular shawl. And I'm making it for me, but I will most likely loan it to my sister for like my nephew baptism, or she wants to take pictures when he's born with a cute little blanket. But because it's not superwash and it's alpaca, I'm not sure she would want to use it all the time, so I mostly will keep it for a big winter shawl for me, which I'm very happy with. The yarn I'm using is Drops Alpaca. Here it is. Isn't that the cutest tag in the world? I just love this little face. So it's 100% alpaca in the colorway 1101, so it's a cream natural colorway, and I got 6 skeins of it. Each skein is 180 yards, so I got quite a lot. And I'm already onto my I just started the third skein. And I just love it. I love alpaca. I love how fluffy it is and how soft. And I made other shawls in alpaca, and this one is the softer one I've ever knit with. I mean, it's not scratchy at all. I can definitely wear it on my skin without having any issues. And it knits up super beautifully. I just love that project. So I love it. I really like most broken tweed pattern. I think the designs are absolutely gorgeous, and the pattern is super well written and easy to follow. I'm just loving that project. I can tell I'm going to be working on it for a little while because I'm not rushing on it. I'm just doing a few rows at night or when I can, and I love it. Mostly I'm going to try to have it finished by the time my nephew is born, which shouldn't be before the end of October, so I still have plenty of time. And there's a few knit-alongs that I want to enter it into, so if I finish it by the end of the fall, that should be perfect. And it's really a super nice and relaxing project to work on. And the lace is very easy because it's only there's less only every 7 or 8 rows, I think, and the rest is knits and purls and knits and purls. So even though if the end piece looks super impressive and pretty, it's very easy to work on. And I think any beginner looking to learn more about lace and knitted and borders and stuff like that, you should definitely give one of these shawl a try. So it's called the Quill, Queuell, and it's by Broken Feed, and I love it. So that was my first work in progress, and I have one last one to show you this week, and we're back to crazy colors. So I started this project completely randomly. I was thinking back about the same time last year when I made my very first Fair Isle project, which was the Shwook hat by Adele Tyndall, and it was released for the Shetland Wool Week. So every year they release a free pattern to highlight their Shetland yarn, and so I was thinking back about that hat and how much I love it and how much I would like to make a bigger, prettier, cooler one. So I just started one, and this is what I have so far. I'm not following any pattern. What I did is that I have a little graph notebook, and I just drew a few Fair Isle charts that I loved, and then I used them on this project. So I started with 1x1 ribbing in my favorite yellow yarn ever, and then I moved on to the Fair Isle part. This chart is probably my favorite one. It's kind of like ovals with a little eye in the middle. I love it. Then there's it's not been blocked yet, so it's hard to see, but it's little plus. Then there's this part, a blue one, and I was so into that project that I didn't even realize that I had reached the point where I needed to start decreasing. But I finally started the crown, and I think it's going to stay in that color, so yellow and purples. And so like I said, I made up all of that parts, but I'm using for the crown, because I wasn't exactly sure how to do a crown in Fair Isle, because it's quite intricate. I'm using a pattern from another pattern I had, and I really like the crown shaping on that one, so that's the one I'm using. And hopefully it's going to be super pretty, and I will show it to you as soon as it's done, obviously. So that's a hat, and it's just my favorite thing in the world. And the yarn I'm using is all of my leftovers Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight. So it's Shetland yarn, and I got a lot of skeins last year when I was doing my shrew cat, but I still had leftover on a lot of colors, so I'm using all my favorites for this one. And this is what the yarn looks like. That's all I have left from the yellow one. And it's quite, if you've ever knit with Shetland yarn, it's quite rustic, but the colors are just so gorgeous. I love it. So it's fingering weight. And if you want to try Fair Isle, I definitely recommend using some Shetland yarn. The great thing is that they come in 25 grams balls, so that's super cheap, and this way you can do little projects and you don't have like 3/4 of a skein left over. So you can buy a lot more colors than if you had to buy full skeins for each. And I just love it. So a few people have asked me already if I'm going to publish a pattern for this hat. I'm not quite sure. What I will most likely be doing is that I will share on my blog the charts that I made and used, all of my favorite Fair Isle motifs. And then if you've ever knitted a hat, it's super simple to simply add those and make your own version of a Fair Isle hat. So that will most likely what I will be doing. And let me know if you're interested. So yeah, loving this project. It's super cool, and I'm actually hoping that I will finish it this week so that I can take it with me to London, because I'm usually quite a light packer when it comes to small holidays and stuff like that. But now that I'm a knitter, I just want to bring all of my shawls and hats and socks. So I'm trying to decide on only a few of those, but I'm taking like 2 shawls, 2 hats. But yeah, I would like to finish this one so that I can take it with me. So that even though it might be raining in London and if the sky is grey, I will have the coolest, most colorful hat in the city. So those were all of my works in progress. And I have plenty more coming this September. New shawls, new socks, and hoping to start my winter sweater very soon, but I still have to order the yarn. And obviously I'm going to be buying yarn in London, so we'll see what I get, but I'm going to try and not buy only this one skein and one skein, but more like enough skeins of one yarn for a big project. So hold me to that, and can't wait to record the next podcast and show you all the stuff I got in London. So that's what you can wait for. But I did buy a few things this last month. The first one you've already seen, it was the alpaca yarn from Drops for my queen, and that's almost the only yarn that I got. So the Drops yarn I got from one of my yarn shops in Paris. They got basically every single Drops yarn you can think of, including some of their sock yarn. And I got this cute one to make a pair of socks, and it's a lot of different shades of blue. So there's like light blues, dark blues, teals, some are almost green, there's dark green and sea green, and it's really good. and I just got this one skein because I have quite small feet, so if I make I can make an entire pair of socks with 50-gram balls if I do my contrast heels and toes, which that's what I'm planning for this pair. So 50 grams is far more than enough for me. And I haven't started this one yet, but I think I'm going to be taking it with me to London, so that it's a small enough project that I can take it with me anywhere, and this way I will have stuff to knit while I'm on the train to London, and if I don't know, take a break in the park or just want to knit in London. So I think socks is the best idea for taking with me because it's small, it's mindless, so it's going to be fun, and I really like those colors. And if you're curious, the colorway is 340 and it's Drops Fabel print. So that's all the yarn I got this last month. Last week Molly from the Homespun House podcast had a bag update, and I've been meaning to try and get a project bag for a long time because, believe it or not, I don't have a single project bag. I've seen a lot on Etsy and I want them all every time, but I never buy them. But this time I thought it was time because on I can't remember which podcast episode she showed the bags that she was working on, and there was one that I absolutely wanted. And so when I saw on Instagram that it was time for a bag update, I jumped on my computer and I managed to grab that bag. And here it is. It's the coolest fabric in the world. I'm just in love with that bag. And it came super quickly. I ordered on Friday and it was there the next Monday. So that was amazing. And I love it. It's a really good size. You can see with a square bottom. And the inside fabric is super cool. Oh, I just love it. She has this little project keeper on all of her bags, which is a little house, like the logo of her brand. And I also got the little sheep stitch marker that you've already seen. I got two. Yes, there was two of them, so here's the second one. And then she included lots of little goodies. First there were teas, and they're both teas that I've been dying to try, so I was super excited to see them in the package. And the smell is just amazing. I've already tried this one, which is lemon cake, and you guys, it's actually like drinking lemon cake. It's just amazing, and I can't wait to try the blueberry muffin one. It smells just amazing. So thank you, Molly, for the teas. I love them. And it wasn't all. She also included little minis for my blanket and my socks now. And the packaging is all super cute. I love the way everything was packaged, and the little notes and everything. And I don't know if it says, because I want to see your face with a smile. That's just too cute. And I haven't taken the minis out because I wanted to show them to you, but I'm definitely going to include them super soon. And I love the colors. So thank you, Molly, for the little goodies. And if you haven't checked our shop yet, you should definitely. Our website is homespunhouse.com. Once again, my bag, isn't it the coolest? Obviously now I want to buy all the bags. But yeah, I think this one was the perfect one to start with. So I love it, and definitely we get more as soon as I can. So I got one last thing knitting related in the mail recently, and it's a book. And it's this book, The Magic of Shetland Lace Knitting. And it's amazing. It's mostly for people that are thinking about making their own designs and shows, because it's got amazing like a stitch dictionary. So basically like that. You can see all of the different stitches, and then there's description like each of them, how to make them. There's a few projects that you can replicate, but mostly it's just, you know, how to make the borders, and basically you can then make your own shawl, and it's just amazing. I mean, look at that. The book is super well made. I love the quality and the photos. I mean, just look at that shawl. Isn't it amazing? I found it on Amazon, and I'm sure you can find it too. And I am so happy that I finally bought it. It's amazing. I just love it. So once again, it's the Shetland lace knitting, and the author is Elizabeth Lovick. So I already have so many ideas of designs and stitches I want to try, and just love this book. So if you're looking for a book that's not just like for beginner learning how to knit or patterns, but more something like a stitch dictionary, mostly about lace, then this is the one you need to buy. It's amazing. So that's what I got this month, and I think that's pretty much it for this week's episode. I won't be recording next week because I will be in London, but I will try to record as soon as I got back, so that I can tell you all about my trip and the things I got and the thing I saw. I most likely won't be taking a lot of pictures because, I mean, I've taken thousands of pictures of London already during my last trips, but I'm hoping I will be able to record a few videos here and there, and maybe I will insert them in the podcast. Tell me what you think about that, and until then I will see you in a couple of weeks. Don't forget to stop by the Ravelry group to chat, and if you have any questions you can ask me there, and I will answer as soon as I can. Until then, happy knitting, and I will see you soon. Bye!